Hello, my name is Gabriel, and I'm currently in my second semester of a biology degree. Today, I want to tell you a bit about my childhood and some experiences that helped me become the person I am today. Even before I was born, my life was already a bit complicated. My parents separated before I came into the world, and for much of my childhood, my mom worked late, so my brother and I spent a lot of time with my grandmother. The house was quiet, maybe too quiet. There wasn't much to do, and I couldn't go out much due to health issues related to being born premature. In fact, that's one of the reasons I wear glasses. Because of that, we learned to be creative. When I was about 5 years old, I discovered something that completely fascinated me. Trains. It might sound a bit nerdy, and honestly was, but I loved them. They were perfect because I could play without making too much noise, which was very important at my grandmother's house. It was quiet, maybe too quiet. There wasn't much to do, and I couldn't go out much due to health issues related to being born premature. In fact, that's one of the reasons I wear glasses. Because of that, we learned to be creative. When I was about 5 years old, I discovered something that completely fascinated me. Trains, it might sound a bit nerdy, and honestly it was. But I loved them. They were perfect, because I could play without making too much noise, which was very important at my grandmother's house. The living room would turn into a massive railway system. We'd build tracks everywhere. And I'd spend hours imagining journeys, stations, and entire cities. We also played hide and seek at night. My favorite hiding spot was inside a wardrobe. Sometimes, since I was so small, I could disappear in there for hours. As I grew up, I discovered new hobbies. One of them was chess. My first encounter with it was when I was 7. Although I hardly had anyone to play with. That never bothered me much. I could sit in front of the board for hours without moving a single piece. From the outside, it looked like I was doing nothing. But in my mind, entire matches were unfolding. Some kids looked at me strangely and thought something was wrong with me. Over time, I understood that I simply thought differently. During elementary school, I didn't have many friends. In fact, I couldn't say I had any. So I learned to find company in my own interests. At 8, I started playing the drums, and at 10, I learned the piano. Music became another way to lose myself in the world. By then, I still didn't have many friends, but I had a drum set, a piano, and a chessboard. I could say they were my first companions. At 13, during middle school, I met my first friend Aiden. With him, I discovered one of my favorite hobbies, a video game called Geometry Dash. We spent hours playing together. The best part wasn't the game itself, but that his company made the silence feel less lonely. The last years of high school were strange. I changed schools and ended up in a place where I didn't know anyone. There, I reconnected with Christopher, a classmate I had known since kindergarten. That friendship taught me something important. Sometimes we care for certain people, but that doesn't mean they're good for us. I learned that walking away can also be a way of taking care of yourself. After that, I went through a phase where I felt emotionally disconnected. I felt like I was moving forward without much enthusiasm until I reached high school. That's where something changed. A doctor at the school told me a phrase I still remember. You have the potential to do whatever you want, but you are so busy believing you can do it that you don't realize the potential you actually have. Those words made me reflect. I understood that having talent isn't worth much if you are not willing to put in the effort. From that moment on, I started working more on myself. My grades improved. and so did my attitude. Shortly after, someone appeared who deeply marked that stage of my life. Muffer. She was a short girl with wavy hair and a smile that was impossible to forget. She loved to read and help others, but what I remember most about her isn't her words, but her presence. There were days when we would just sit together and read. We didn't need much. It wasn't like we had to talk all the time. Sometimes she would stroke my head while she watched me. And in that silence, it seemed like we both understood everything. When she asked if I was okay or if I was tired, I always answered the same. I am fine. You make me feel fine. And it was true. The curious thing is that one of the greatest memories I have about her is a story about a book she read called 100 Years of Solitude. Maybe because I liked listening to her talk, or maybe because I liked seeing her smile, or maybe she was one of the few people who managed to make me feel completely present. And that has been a part of my story. A story made of trains, chess, music, friendships, lessons, and people who left their mark. Thank you very much.